Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for tuning back in to the video today. Much appreciated you taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch it. And today I thought we'd have a little fun video today. I'm going to pose the question about how good Bill Dance actually was, or how good was he back when he was fishing tournaments back in the 70s, and have a little bit of discussion about that. Might be fun a little bit. Real quick before we get started, just want to give you guys the weekly reminder on go over to fishthemoment.com, check out our lake map breakdowns. I think you guys know that myself, Johnny, Matt, Stefan are making the winter lake map breakdowns. We got lake map breakdowns all over the country, all for all 4 seasons. It's just a great resource if you want to learn more about a specific lake that you fish or want to fish. So go over there and check them out at fishthemoment.com. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Bill Dance here. You know, first of all, Bill's one of those guys that, one of those fishermen, I have never heard anybody say a bad word about the guy. He has got to be the most beloved bass fisherman in the country. And, you know, he's always, you know, fun to be around. He's always joking up. He's in a great mood. He just, when you think about bass fishing, I mean, Bill Dance he's just like the epitome of bass fishing. He's, you know, through the television, most people don't even remember him from the tournament days, but he's been on television for so long that, you know, he's just a household name to everybody. And everybody, you know, everybody knows that Bill fishes in these private bodies of water that has giant bass in them. And, you know, so everybody gives him a break on that. But it can give you a little bit of inferiority complex, because back when I was younger and watched Bill Dance a lot before the internet and stuff like that, I said to myself, does the guy ever catch a bass that's under 5 pounds? I don't think I've ever seen him, you know, I don't think I've ever seen him catch a bass that wasn't 5 to 10 pounds. So it gave me a little bit of an inferiority complex on my skill level after watching Bill, until I found out he's fishing a lot of, you know, private lakes. But that's still cool because he's super knowledgeable, he's super funny, he's just got a great energy to be around. But the question I want to pose was, how good was Bill Dance back in the day? And if you look through the records, he was dominating. You know, from the time that bass started back in the late 60s until the time he retired in 1980, he had a really short career. He won a lot of tournaments. I can't remember how many Bassmaster tournaments, but he won or placed like in the top 10, and just phenomenal amount of tournaments, including winning multiple Bass Angler of the Years. And when he didn't win Bass Angler of the Year, he was always up there close to winning Bass Angler of the Year. So from the times that he competed, he was without a doubt, you can argue back and forth between him and Roland Martin being the most dominant bass anglers from the 70s. Roland actually had probably a better record, but not far behind Bill's, because even a lot of those Angler of the Year titles that Roland won, you know, Bill was like in 2nd or 3rd place. Just phenomenal like that. And I always wondered why Bill quit fishing when he did. I mean, it was probably because of the television opportunities, but somebody like that was such a dominating figure in the sport, you think that they would want to stay with it longer. I never did really hear the story about why he got out. But here's the thing that I've always posed to myself when it comes to guys like Bill Dance and Roland Martin and a lot of those early guys like that. How would they stack up against the anglers today? How would they stack up against the, you know, the Brandon Poliniks and the the Brian Thrifts and all that type of stuff? And I don't think that's a fair comparison, because when every single generation, the great anglers from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, all that type of stuff, every angler that dominated that generation competed against the other people that were at the same skill level in those generations. So you can't really say, you know, how Bill Dance would have done in 2021, because that's an impossible comparison. But with the resources they had back in the 60s and 70s, you know, the rudimentary equipment by today's standards, he was just a dominating figure. And probably one of the reasons that Bill Dance and Roland dominated so much back in that time period is they were two of the guys. It was pretty rare for guys to be full-time pro fishermen. Most guys, you know, they just did it on the side as some hobby or something like that. But Roland and Bill Dance, you know, they were out there, you know, traveling the country, doing it full time. They were in the position where they could do that. So that's why they were such dominating forces. But like I said, when you ask the question, how actually good was Bill Dance, he was one of the greatest. I mean, he was arguably one of the greatest anglers of his generation, and the contributions he's made to the sport, you know, just through his, you know, educational television show and his entertaining television show, makes him without a doubt the most beloved figure in the sport. I've been around Bill. I used to be around him a lot more back when we did a lot of sports shows back in the 90s, but he'd always remember who you were, always really gregarious, always really, you know, bigger than life, sort of like that. You know, when Bill Dance walked up to a crowd, it's like there was a glow around him, something like that. So, you know, he's got my highest respect, even though he only fished for 10 years and, you know, didn't have the super long career. He made a tremendous mark in the sport, you know, even during that time frame. So, like I said, I don't think there's any way to gauge any anglers. I'm gonna put, like, every angler, you had two competing anglers during different generations. Like in the 70s, you had Bill Dance and Roland Martin. In the 80s, you had guys like Clunn and Larry Nixon. And in the 90s, you had guys like, you know, David Fritz and Mark Davis. The 2000s, you know, you had that own set of guys like Jay Ellis and Kevin Van Dam. So every generations has its own set of rivalries, and Bill Dance and Roland were two of the top there. So anyway, guys, just a few thoughts on Bill Dance today. Just was driving, got to go pick up the boys at school, and had a little bit of time for the video and wanted to put that one out there. So hope you guys are doing good, and we'll talk to y'all soon.